Was it early?
Yeah, it's in the morning, like 8:30 or so. And these trees are a lot bigger than they were, but he was in these trees right over here beside this field.
On November 20th, 2003, Somerset Community College experienced a tragedy that no one saw coming. Around 8:30 a.m., a 1958 Beechcraft Bonanza aircraft took off from the Somerset Pulaski Airport and started experiencing engine trouble. The pilot attempted to turn back towards the airport, only to crash about 1,000 feet away from the runway in the area you see before you. The 3 people aboard the plane all perished in the crash. Terry Sumter, who was 47, Brian Robert, who was 24, and James McGettigan, who was 60. I sat down with Dr. John Berlew, the Dean of Arts and Sciences at Somerset Community College, who was on campus the day of the crash.
Everyone I talked to, including my own family, had some connection. They were individuals. There were 3 in the plane when it crashed, and of course all 3 were killed. But again, with it being a small town, they were all connected. One of the passengers was an older gentleman, and he was from the east. I want to say New Jersey, and not many people around here seem to know him. But the other 2 were local guys, and a lot of connections there.
I invited Mr. Bob Flynn, the editor of the bridge at the time of the crash, to come down and talk about his experiences that day.
Did someone put a tombstone up down here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's got a little, like a memorial stone.
Okay. I didn't know they had done that.
Jeff hadn't either. But we noticed it just the other day when we came and visited. And then there's the bench.
All of this was woods
Oh, wow, okay.
because this holly tree was here. There, part of it was against this tree, and then there were more here. It was just suspended in the trees. But the other tree line was way up here. They've cleared it out
Cleared it
some
back
in the
out
last
some.
Yeah. The trees were all the way up here where these
Brushes.
hedges are. Yeah.
I wonder it made them clear, I guess just so it can look
Yeah.
good.
But they weren't quite that big. But these pine trees, he hit some of them as he came through. And it was right there, just upside down right there. This is the first time I've been over here since that day we took pictures, so
How does that feel?
strange. Feels really odd because it was a sad day. Yeah, this is the first time I've seen it since then.
How old were you?
I went back to Eastern when I was 40, so I was 39.
39? So that's, I mean, it's still young. That's,
Yeah,
to
but
see
yeah,
something
it
like
feels
that.
really odd being over here.
Was that the first time that you had seen something that like graphic?
Yeah, it was, and it not something I'll ever forget.
How did it not scare you away from journalism?
Well, people need to hear those stories, and a lot of the people, the victims' families, that they want to tell the story, and they want to let people know who these people are, and they're not just 3 random people. These people had families, and
So you look at it more as making sure that they have that voice versus focusing on.
Absolutely.
I think that's that, and you're right, because their stories need to be told, and they deserve to be told, and it can give the families some solace and peace to know that it's being told.
In November of 2018, for the 15th anniversary of the crash, the bridge did an additional article in which Tammy Sumter, Mr. Sumter's wife, was quoted saying that Terry was a great father, an awesome husband. After he retired from the Navy, he was very active in the community and did fundraising for schools and activities. Mr. Sumter's son, Dean Sumter, was also contacted and is quoted saying, "I like to go to the memorial that the families made, rather than my father's gravesite. I feel my dad's presence more in that area." Louis Floyd, who is related to Brian Roberts by marriage, was contacted for the 15th anniversary article as well and said, "Brian was like a grandson to me. He was such a great kid with a lot of potential. He loved to fly ever since he was little and first started playing. Brian followed his dream, and it is very unfortunate that this happened for reasons no one can answer or understand."
Yeah, seeing the memorial there really brings it home.
They've done a really pretty job. I have no idea when they
is.
put that in.
I don't know, but when they cleared it out, I'm glad they marked the spot, because that's exactly where it was. I recognized the tree as we walked up through there.
It's pretty. It has a beautiful message
Yeah.
on it.
I'm glad they did it.
Oh yeah, the headstone's a bit harder to read,
Yeah, it's got moss
but
growing on it.
it does. It has a beautiful message on it.
Stuart Simpson, the newly retired advisor of the bridge, says, "In the 20-plus year history of the bridge, there have been very few hard news stories. The deadly plane crash on SCC property in November 2003 was one. The student staff at the time rose to the occasion and reported the story in the paper accurately and thoughtfully."
I didn't realize it had been 20 years. I knew it was in November, but I didn't realize it had been 20 years ago, but it has been. Yeah, I like the bench. That's nice.
The benches, it is, and they've kept it really well.
Yeah. That's good. I'm not sure who did it, but I'm glad he did.
It's pretty. It has a beautiful message
Yeah.
on it.
I'm glad they did it.
Do you know John Burlew?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He probably did it on the radio.
He said that he was interviewed in his office while while they were cleaning it up.
Yeah, because he would have been on campus.
Yeah.
So I had my phone, and you can see, looking out the window, I have a direct shot just over the top of the tennis courts there. So I was standing here. I had a large file cabinet here, my phone at this position, and I was able to describe the vehicles, the emergency vehicles coming in and going around. And once it was realized that I was on the radio and that I was doing the news, they were getting information to me about the traffic and how they wanted traffic routed and everything, and that we were, everyone was safe, and that the students here were not impacted, that it missed the buildings and everything. But the plane left the runway, which would be over here, and it came up and banked to the left and clipped the trees that are in the background there, clipped the top of those trees and landed there in Festival Field. So you can see we're a good distance away from the actual buildings and everything. We're very, very fortunate.
Yeah, and it was, as far as if it had to crash, where it crashed in distance to the campus, because it could have been.
Oh, absolutely. And, a lot of speculation, a lot of talk afterwards about, did he do that on purpose? I mean, that's an open field, an open spot. There's not too many of those around the area. Did he guide that plane into an area where no one would be hurt? He wouldn't hit any buildings or any people. There was that speculation. Of course, you want to think that may have been the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this. I didn't know they'd done it. I'm glad they did this. This is nice. I'm glad they did it. I was afraid they'd just cleaned it out and were using it for something else, but now.
No, they have, thankfully, instead of moving on from it, they
that's good.
kept
They
it.
need,
Right,
it's part of the campus history, so they need to keep it.
And I agree with that.
And I'm sure the families appreciate that.
It's just like you
It's
said.
really sad.
It's one of those things you don't know how many days you got.
That's it. Enjoy every day. Absolutely.
We all have numbers. We just don't know what that number
true.
is. So I appreciate you taking the walk with me. I'm
glad I came out here. I didn't know that was there.
This is Nicole Flannery, co-managing editor of The Bridge, signing off. I want to give thanks to everyone who participated in the making of this project.